Thank you to all the amazing listeners out there. On behalf of the Reef Podcast, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for future mentions and new episodes. Have a great day.
Oh my God, welcome all to the Reef Podcast. I'm your host, LuisIpa, joined here by the good man, Kratos. Kratos, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, couldn't be better.
Hey, how you guys like that theme, huh? Like 2 8-bits back to back? I mean, come on, man.
You gotta look. We gotta represent the real champion of Stone Cold.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us live on Twitch on the Reef Podcast channel and on Twitter on the SpotemGang Network. As you know, I'm the crazy shark here, joined by the madman over here, Kratos. I call him NightmareRyzing as well. And then we have a special guest here with us today. A little late, but he was a birthday boy a few days ago. So please welcome Rope Man. How you doing, Rope Man?
Luis, it's great to see you guys. How are we doing on this beautiful evening? But I feel a little naked here. Like looking at you guys with your big beautiful sunglasses. I feel left out. Hold on. We gotta fix this. All right.
You gotta wear your sunglasses at night.
All right. There we go. Now the podcast may proceed.
Oh my gosh. So, as I said before, thank you everyone that has joined from SpotemGang, from all networks out there. You guys are simply amazing. Shout outs to everybody that has been watching the podcast for so long. We are currently on our episode 53, which is crazy. I never thought we would actually reach this far.
All right, this is actually really dark. I have to take these off.
He can't handle it. I can't handle
the Reef Podcast.
Bright lights. That's the key.
It's so bright.
Oh my gosh. All right. So if you don't mind me asking, Rope Man, please do a little introduction about yourself. Tell the public who you are and what you do.
Oh man, the thing I like to do least is talk about myself, and anybody that's ever seen anything I've ever done knows that's a complete and total lie. I am Rope Man the Gray. I play the role-playing games of yesterday and today, and I'm also a co-host of the Pixels and Pints Podcast, which is the flagship podcast of the SpotemGang Network. We like to say we were first. You guys have been around longer, but we were first in terms of the SpotemGang. I've been streaming for a couple of years now. I hit my second year affiliate anniversary next month. I'm an old guy. I like to call myself the old man of the SpotemGang and the old man of the interwebs. I don't understand you kiddies and your tactics and your Instagrammies and stuff like that. But I like to play old school RPGs, new school RPGs, have a lot of fun with some Mario Kart and stuff like that. And I've been a Dub Club member for far too long. Mm-hmm. Cicada and the SpotemGang have taken far too much of my money. I deserve recompense here. So, no, I absolutely love the community. Love everything I'm doing. It's a lot of fun. And just guys, thank you so much for having me on. And I apologize here in advance for the fact that this will probably be your last podcast after I get you canceled. So, you know what? You've had a good run.
Man, gotcha. Oh my gosh, this guy. All right, so basically, we actually just updated this. I mean, me and my co-host were like talking like off screen and everything, and we're thinking like, when we actually interview content creators like yourself, we're thinking about just having a chat, get to know the person, like, just have a normal conversation. But we're still gonna do our end of the podcast segment, the what the fuck segment, where basically like, we just basically ask those random questions that you're like, wait, what is that? What you said? So,
and that's what'll get you canceled, Luis. Just throwing that out there.
Okay.
We'll be fine. We've done it for 5 years.
Challenge accepted.
All right.
Look, the one question, man, that's coming up, it's there every podcast. That's going to be what puts us on the map. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's that specific question that we always ask towards the end of the podcast. We always get the reaction. We love seeing the reaction, like, okay, and like they have to think for a second, like, okay, and then they say the right thing, and then something happens, and they're like, wait, what? Like, how's the possible? All right. Anyways, okay. So, Roadman, Rope Man, what actually got you into streaming, man? Like, what was the reason behind you, like, the name Rope Man, first of all, of course?
Oh, all right. So the name Rope Man. So it's actually a play on my last name. I'm not going to dox myself, but it's a play on my last name, and it was actually a nickname of mine in high school. So because of it kind of all fit together, and then I actually added the gray to it. So Rope Man was my nickname in high school, and what people used to call me, and I added the gray when I started streaming because it was just like, well, Rope Man, what the hell does that mean? And that was like, well, I kind of played off of the, well, I'm really old aspect of, gray hair, balding, all the good stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to kind of play off of Gandalf the Gray a little bit, play a little bit off of the role-playing aspect of my age, and just add the gray to it and go from there. And it just kind of stuck. And, everybody still calls me Rope Man, but then they're like, oh, yeah, it's that old guy, the dude with the gray hair. And even though he wears a hat, we all think he's bald. So...
So, what actually, you mentioned, that the gray was because of Gandalf, but I mean, what gave them the reason to nickname you Rope Man in high school? Like, what was the reason behind that?
So, it's a play on my last name. So, my last name has rope in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was one of those things, I added the man part to it, but my nickname in high school, and it's actually been a family nickname for my grandfather, my father, my brother, myself. Everybody called us Rope in high school. So, and even into adulthood to a little degree. So I added the man to it because if you try to call yourself, I'm talking like 90s, IRC chat, IRC chat, original Diablo, original Warcraft 2 on Battle.net. I couldn't get the nickname Rope. So I had to add the man to it so I could register a display name to play those games back in the day. So it just became Rope Man. And it's stuck now for... Oh my God, it's been 30 years. It's a long-standing name.
So I kid you not, the first time I ever met you, and I came to these streams to hang out and everything, when I saw your name Rope Man, and I saw that you were actually talking about wrestling and things like that, I honestly thought that that's the main reason why you put yourself Rope Man, because the ropes and everything for wrestling. Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is a wrestling fan. That's awesome. I would like to get to know him because I like WWE, and of course this guy right here that's actually just focus mode right now. He's a big wrestler fan too. So we all wrestler fans here.
Not just WWE. I've learned independence and.
Hey, I appreciate all wrestling, but no, my name has nothing to do with the ropes on a wrestling ring at all. It's not even remotely close.
All right, what you got, Nightmare?
So we're going to keep with the wrestling. If you could go to any wrestling show, current, past, if you could place yourself in one wrestling show, where would it be?
Okay, I don't know. I don't remember the date. I apologize for this. I had this thought. I would want to go to the Monday Night Raw where Edge and Lita had sex in the middle of the ring. Without a doubt. That would be number one, ultimate, if I could go back in time and do it, that would be the event. I mean, come on. Of all the most cringe moments of wrestling, there've been plenty. Bra and panties matches. There have been chocolate pudding matches, mud wrestling. There's been so much cringe stuff in wrestling throughout the years. But can either of you guys name a more cringe, more noteworthy event than when Edge and Lita literally were doing doggy style? They still had their underwear on, but they were doing doggy style in the middle of the ring.
Mae Young giving birth to the Hand.
That's another good one. That is another good one. You know what? That would be right up there too. Yes, I very much approve.
I honestly would have loved to actually be there when they had that. I think it was a Raw. I don't remember which one it was. That they actually DX was actually with a tank outside or something. I would.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The Monday Night Wars DX.
Monday Night Wars.
Yep.
That would have been the moment for me. I was like, dude, holy moly! They have a freaking tank. What the hell? They go far and beyond when it comes to that, man. It's crazy.
I'll rate a close second when Vince McMahon was, the big meme where he's gets all crazy because Stacy Keibler's in the ring and trying to become his executive assistant.
Oh
That
God.
that episode would have been great to be at too. Like, I mean, that just because of how meme worthy that was.
The Vince Trish moment.
Yes,
That would be good.
You know, I would have loved to have been backstage with the Shelton Benjamin Trish Stratus, where she's just in a towel and they're talking about like they're making a play on Monday Night Football, and Trish Stratus is just in a towel and she's like trying to get Shelton Benjamin all excited about her, and Vince McMahon comes back and is like, "What's going on here?" and kicks out Shelton Benjamin. Then Vince just looks, he goes, and Trish like flashes Vince McMahon, and Vince goes, "Now this is wrestling. Are you ready for some wrestling?"
Man, literally, like, you know, craziness, man. I mean, another shocker. I mean, when I still was young and everything like that. I mean, I wasn't like, you know, super young, but I mean, when I still thought wrestling was quote unquote real, and the whole plot about like, you know, Vince McMahon basically trying to like amend for everything that he did, and he goes into the limo and he literally, like, the limo catches fire. I was like, oh my goodness, like, how did they stage this?
Are you talking the one where it exploded?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I remember that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was yes. Where he walks in and just blows up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna date myself a little bit. The very first Raw, with Undertaker coming out on the very first Raw.
That would have been cool.
That would have been awesome, but I was a WCW fan back then, so I know that's
I can't hold it
taboo.
against you because you know what? Here's the thing. I watched both.
You know, I respect that. I respect watching both. Me, I'm kind of I'm one of those people, like, once I commit to something, I feel like if I watch like another promotion, even if I respect it, I feel like I'm cheating. So, like, when WCW got bought by WWE, it kind of felt weird. It was like, you know, it was like when your girlfriend like meets your other girlfriend and they kind of like get together and you have them both at the same time, like you really don't know how to act.
And there's so many memories.
As my wife is listening right now, and she's like, "Wait a second."
That's an interesting analogy. Hopefully, you don't get in trouble for it.
Oh my gosh.
Crafty is right upstairs. She can hear everything I say, and she's like, "Well, he really did have a past before me. Interesting."
So, what was the inspiration behind, like, you know, you and Retro Panda to actually start a podcast? Like, what actually made you all think, like, you know, hey, let's start a podcast about beer and pixels?
So what ended up happening, so we actually had a previous iteration of Pixels and Pints before. We just recently came back in the last couple of months, and it was actually there was another co-host at the time, Dr. Boot Punch, and literally it was one of those situations. They kind of came up with the idea, the two of them, and we were just kind of chit-chatting in each other's streams and talking. And they invited me along because we all got along. We like to hang out, play similar types of games. We all got along, and I was just like, "Yeah, it sounds like fun. Let's hop in a stream together and do this little podcast. You know, shoot the stream a little bit." And it just kind of caught on. Like, people just kind of enjoyed the energy, enjoyed us talking. We were obviously drinking beers, so we were like, "Well, let's come up with a name." And it's like, well, we all like video games. We all like drinking beer. Pixels and Pints just kind of came out of there, in terms of a name. And then it got a little too rowdy towards the end of 2023. Yeah, end of 2023. Yeah. So we actually stopped doing the podcast for the better part of 9 months. And then Panda and I just brought it back not too long ago, and are trying to make it a little more mainstream, a little calmer, a little more relaxed. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still ridiculous and fun, but you know, Rope Man's not going to leave his office and magically wander back in and be pass out drunk like he did back in the previous iteration. So it's a little more controlled, but it's a ton of fun. We love talking old school video games, new school video games, and having a couple of beers with everybody. Plus, we watch the WWE PLEs on stream and talk about them, and, you know, talk about what's going on and do odds and all that kind of fun stuff. So a little bit of spot and bucks gambling.
Gotcha. That's actually cool. So Also, I wanted to know what do you hope to accomplish whenever, like, with streaming wise? I mean, I know like you stream all kind of games and everything, but what is your ultimate goal that you want to achieve?
So the ultimate is that I was prepared for this one. The ultimate goal is to clear my backlog, and I know that'll never happen. So so it's a never-ending goal. So ultimately, the reason I actually got into streaming is I have a notorious habit of starting a game, especially role-playing games, getting about, I don't know, halfway in, like right into that meat, the grind, where it's like it just starts to slow down, and then honest to God being like, you know what, there's a shiny new toy over this way, I want to go play with that toy, and then forgetting about the game I was playing. So I figured if I started streaming, it would kind of keep me on task with having to finish those games, and so I would complete more games, meet new people, have fun, and actually at some point clear my backlog, even though honestly my backlog has actually gotten worse since I started streaming. So I think I'm failing in that regard, but you know what, I would have bought those games anyway. It's fine, it's all good.
And Expedition 33 is unbelievable. Like from what I've seen from gameplay from so many people, I'm like, dude, this is the modern RPG that everybody wanted from the past. Like something that's turn-based, that still has the nostalgia, but also has like the whole, basically you can actually counter the moves and stuff, which is the taste of the new generation. So basically it's like an old generation with new generation mixed together, which is kind of crazy.
I tell you, Expedition 33 is the best thing to come out of France since the baguette.
That's crazy.
Bar none. Bar none.
Gotcha.
Maybe the macaroon. I don't know if the macaroon came first or the baguette, but I'm going with the best thing since the baguette.
Make me have to look this up now.
All right, Nightmare, what you got?
So you obviously, with what we've talked about, enjoy the RPGs. What was the first RPG you remember?
Oh God. So it was either the original Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy. I don't remember which one I played first back in the mid-'80s. The one that immediately comes to mind is Final Fantasy, but I might have played Dragon Quest first. But with the original Final Fantasy, I remember getting it for Christmas, or my birthday, one or the other, from my mom, and my mom being like, oh, I like the box art, so I bought this for you for your birthday. I hope you like it. And I remember playing it, and I didn't understand a thing about it. I didn't even understand what the heck a white mage or a black mage was. Yeah, this was Little Rope Man, and this was like right when it came out. And I just remember playing it and being like, wow, this is great. The next thing I knew, I was like staying inside on weekends. My dad was trying to get me to play baseball. I'm like, no, I gotta play this game. I gotta play. And my parents getting mad at me that I wasn't doing anything other than playing Final Fantasy. And yes, Cicada, I know, Dragon Warrior. I'm going with the proper Japanese name now. Thank you. Sorry, I saw Cicada bashing me in chat.
That's funny.
But, I just remember playing it. I ended up beating Chaos and beating it. And I just remember calling my best friend at the time at like 10:30 at night on a Wednesday night. I'm like 8 years old. His parents just getting pissed, and me being like, I beat Chaos, it's amazing, we've done it, it's great. And I've been hooked on RPGs ever since.
Which one is your favorite Final Fantasy out of the classics? I want to know.
Oh, Jesus.
Not just favorite. Which one do you think is the best?
There you go.
Okay, my favorite and the best are two different things. Like, let's gotta parcel that. And that's like asking me to pick my favorite child. Like, everybody has a favorite child. I don't have kids, but I'm assuming everybody has a favorite child, but it's not something you're ever supposed to admit. So
don't talk about it.
But yeah, it's like, it's like my nieces and nephews. Yeah, I have a favorite, but I'll never tell them they're my favorite to their face. Like, I don't want to make the others feel bad. But no, it's not Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, Panda. Jeez. No, so my favorite is Final Fantasy IV.
Really?
With Cecil, yes, I know it's controversial. It's my personal favorite. I have beaten that Final Fantasy IV more than any other Final Fantasy. I played it on stream. I I think it was for my affiliate anniversary last year or my birthday, one or the other, start to finish in one day, like just all the way through. I know that game so well. I love it. It was the first Super Nintendo RPG I played. I love the graphics. I love the story. I love the different classes, the way the parties come together, the sorrow, the loss, the fact that it doesn't take like 85 hours to beat, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of what's the best Final Fantasy, I gotta go 9. 9 is the best. It's new school. It's new school enough that you have a lot of those quality of life aspects to it. It's got a lot of hidden areas. It's got classic dynamics. It's got a classic story. It's got modern. It's got old school. It's got a little bit of everything. It's turn-based. If it's not turn-based, it can't be the best. Sorry, controversial opinion, but it's true. Mm-hmm. Totally it's got to be Final Fantasy 9. I respect the Final Fantasy 7 people, but it's Final Fantasy 9, and if you think Final Fantasy 8 is the best Final Fantasy, you don't deserve to be able to play role-playing games anymore.
Oh my god, wow. So you probably think that about me then. I'm a big Final Fantasy VIII fan. I really enjoyed that one, man. That was actually
all right, podcast over. I can't be here anymore. No.
See, mine's 10. My opinion, 10's the best, only for the simple fact of the weapon systems.
Fair. I love the customization in 10. Also, if you want to go with the Final Fantasy that made me cry, Final Fantasy X is the Final Fantasy that made me cry.
Damn.
And yes, I'm a masculine man. I cry.
Hey,
Thank you.
Hey, we're all emotional here. I mean, you saw in the last podcast we did with Ambly, dude. I got emotional. Yes. I was literally like,
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Which, guys, I got to give you guys some credit. That was an amazing podcast with Ambly. That was so much fun. It was incredible. Like, I got to give you bravo. Just bravo, both of you.
Yeah.
Now we got to ask this question. We admit that 10 is one of the top tier. May not be everybody's number one, but it's definitely top 10. 10-2. What is your opinion on 10-2? Honestly,
underrated. The story sucks. I want to be very, very clear. The story is terrible. I hate it. It doesn't deserve to exist. But the battle system and the dress sphere system, underrated. That is a fun way to do a job system, in my opinion. And being able to kind of change things on the fly and go. However, I've watched a lot of videos on 10-2 and 13 and like the changing of the clothes and stuff like that. I don't remember who the director was that designed it that way, but that dude really has a clothes fetish, and we all really should be concerned for him.
Mm-hmm. I just hope, like, they remake all our Final Fantasies. Like, I hope they remake the remake 8, the remake 9, and that's it. Don't go to 10 because 10 is still kind of modern. But I mean, at least do those 3 because I know we have the Tactics coming up really soon, so that's gonna be really nice to see.
End of September. However, they don't need to remake 8 because 8 deserves to be in a dumpster fire. So.
Gotcha. I don't know.
I'm gonna keep
it. No, he's just dogging 8.
No, I'm sorry. First, Luis has technical issues. Then he's like, Final Fantasy VIII is the greatest Final Fantasy. I thought you were a 10. You've just gone down to a 9. I'm sorry.
See, somebody that sits there and says 6 is the best.
See, even Retro Panda actually agrees with me. He's like 8 is actually really good. Because it is. The story is really good for 8. I like the story. It was really good. And for the time being, you probably agree with this with me. The CGIs for that one were really good. The CGI effects. Yes.
Especially for a PS2 or PS1, era game, the CGI was fantastic. And I actually don't mind the story of Final Fantasy VIII. I want to be very clear. The story is fine.
But you didn't like the fact. But you didn't like the fact that there was no magic points. It was all like basically you get certain magic thing, like you draw the magic. They have like 5 or 6, and literally like you can only use 1 at a time or something like that.
And enemy scaling, the junction system, it's garbage, it's trash. Take it out back, burn it, shoot it with a gun, however you need to kill what they tried to do with Final Fantasy VIII. Like, you want to if you want to remake Final Fantasy VIII, give it a proper level grinding, proper magic point system, I'm all on board with the story. It's fine. But everything with regards to the battle right now, other than the fact it's turn-based, needs to be taken out back and beaten with a baseball bat.
Okay, I gotta disagree with Zakato right here because he said Final Fantasy 13 was good. I'm sorry, but I did not like it.
I didn't play anything after 10-2.
Final Fantasy 13 is great. I just played it for the first time about a little over a year ago. I tell you what, it was ahead of its time. Don't get me wrong. So it's very linear. There's no grinding. There's not a lot of the traditional Final Fantasy stuff, but you find a lot of modern RPGs with that kind of progression where you're just going from point A to point B and you're doing stuff. The battle system was fantastic. It's really intuitive. It's fun. But back in 2007 when it came out, 2008 on PS3, something like that.
I don't remember.
There was nothing else like it, and I actually agreed with everybody else. I was like, this is garbage. This isn't what I want out of my Final Fantasy. What are we doing? Now, though, not so bad. Now, don't get me wrong, the PC port is trash. It needs to have a proper remaster so that you can actually play it properly on a modern system. But yeah, the Steam version of Final Fantasy 13, it's rough. It's very, very rough. If you don't get a bunch of mods, it will not run.
See, I was always a big... the main reason why I also liked 8 is because there was a lot of Aeons, like a lot of Guardian Forces. And literally, like, I kid you not, those visuals for, like, the intros for each one of them was really original. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, that's the main thing for me. I always look for scenery. I look for detail on things. And if, for example, like 7 Remake, gorgeous game. But basically, like, you know, what I'm saying is, like, you know, if you have a beautiful scenery and you have a realistic dialogue, not just basically a person that reads a script with no emotions, then you have a good game. But if you have no emotions behind that, then what's the point of playing the game? It's like basically having a robot talk to you, basically.
Hey, you know, I can respect that opinion. Like, the only problem was with all those beautiful visuals of Final Fantasy VIII was the junction system where you had to put the Aeons onto a character and then, like, add stats to them, which was just... Sorry, you'll never convince me. That's stupid.
Well, I know for a fact the abilities, you actually put them to you, and then your Aeons basically earn those abilities so they can give them to you, so your characters would actually have those. That's what a lot of people were confused with. Like, every time I see somebody play through on Twitch Final Fantasy VIII, how do you do junction? Like, they're all confused. I'm like, you do this, you do this, you do that. Oh, thanks, I appreciate that. Or some of them like, no, I want to learn. I was like, oh, good luck trying to learn. That thing is it's like a mixtape, basically. It's like completely complex.
Exactly. You know what? I play video games to relax, not because I want to learn how to solve, like, complex engineering problems while I'm playing my video games. So.
Okay. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to say about Final Fantasy that I really enjoyed out of 8 and 9, the card game. I always loved the card games.
Yes.
Those were fun.
Triple Triad is... Okay, correction. Triple Triad was the best card game in a Final Fantasy game, and I thank Final Fantasy VIII for giving us that. However, I will say Queen's Blood out of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth might be better. Might be better. I'm not saying it is better. Might be better. I would put both of those games up against each other, and I love them both. But yes, the card game is the best part out of Final Fantasy VIII. That's other than the okay story, that's the only thing I take out of that game that's worth a darn.
What really pisses me off is the fact that you couldn't continue with the level that your characters were from the first part. That upset me. But at the same time, I understand why they did it, because they wanted new people to experience the game, so that way they can actually start, like, from the beginning and start, like, you know, from ground zero. But I mean, make it so that way that's an option. Like, hey, so you have a save file here with all your stats. Do you want to continue with this, or you want to start over? Just do it like that. It's simple.
I fully agree with you. I mean, and be able to carry over your weapons and all that stuff. Like, I understand that they changed they went from what was it, like the sphere system or whatever you want to call it, those orbs, to the different way of upgrading your stats. But, you know, be able to transfer over some of your stats and do some of that stuff. I fully agree with you.
All right. So, Nightmare, you probably have a couple questions come up.
I have one.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
And it's kind of a combination between the RPG and the wrestling side. Have you seen the WWE 2K25 Island mode?
So I'm not a big WWE game player. I'll be honest. But I have seen the island. It reminds me of NBA 2K, like the city that they do. Seems like the same idea. You know, I've tried to play WWE games. I am terrible at them. I am absolutely awful at them. So I've never really gotten into them. Quite frankly, I suck.
Mm-hmm. Panda says here,
Yes.
I heard it's a giant microtransaction.
It really is.
It is.
It is. It absolutely is.
I play it. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is a pain in the neck getting the VC you need to do any kind of upgrades.
And one thing I notice about a lot of games nowadays, guys, is that I notice it's literally all microtransactions or battle passes, some sort of battle passes thing now.
Yeah.
Because even like whenever the Tekken 8 had an update recently, they're like, "Ooh, battle pass for Tekken 8." I was like, "Bro, you putting this on a fighting game?"
I don't mind a battle pass where you just grind.
Yeah.
Like it's a battle pass where you have to pay that, like, or you pay to get the extra stuff or whatever. I hate that. I will gladly grind a battle pass if it's a game I really, really like. Like
It's just I just find it rare on a fighting game. That's what I'm trying to point out.
I've never seen one on a fighting game. But obviously Tekken 8 does, but
I was just like literally like I was face palming myself. Like, are you kidding me? Battle passes came to Tekken 8. Why? Like seriously, come on.
Didn't Multiverses do a battle pass?
I
don't know.
I think they did. I think so.
I think everybody was giving them hell in a battle.
You know, I'm all for a battle pass or microtransactions where a developer's trying to make some extra money if they're going to keep putting out content. What I can't get behind is any kind of microtransaction where it's like pay to win or pay to get an advantage. Like just get that out of my video game.
All right.
No.
Oh my gosh. All right. So we're getting ready to the favorite part of the podcast. Because, I mean, like I said, we started doing this thing that we talk, we goof off. Like, you know, this is actually something that we want to do with streamers. Like, you know, get to know them a little bit and then their journey of, like, you know, going to streaming, what their ultimate goal is. So basically, like, you know, if people that haven't followed you here, they can definitely follow you, like, you know, on your channel. I mean, basically, like, you know, it shows, like, you know, on the title, your name. So definitely, like, you know, if nobody has followed Ropeman here, you definitely should follow him. Absolutely. Because this guy, like, you know, he has an amazing voice when it comes to Pixel and Pints with Panda. And they have a really fun podcast. So before I do get to the Q&A, I want to present you with this. I know I showed it on the trailer, but some people didn't see the trailer. So...
How did everybody miss the trailer? What?
So...
I watched it.
This right here is a shirt signed by me. But I wanted to let you know that literally I'm going to be shipping it to my co-host here. He's going to be signing it. Once he actually gets it signed, we're going to see if, like, you know, that editor wants to sign it too. If he doesn't want to, then from my editor, from my co-host here, he's going to basically ship it directly to you. And then basically you get both signatures on this shirt.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I would offer Pixels and Pints shirt and reciprocation, but we're not cool enough yet to have swag.
Hey, I mean, I basically, for my podcast, we basically started having merch, I would say, around the second year. That's when we're like, okay, you know what? Let's just have it. I mean, if somebody buys something great. Yeah.
I think it was second or third years when merch hit.
That's awesome. No, and it's a beautiful shirt. And guys, thank you so much. I mean, just thank you for having me on, first of all. And for the shirt, I will wear it with pride. And when people stop me in the street, because, you know, people stop me in the street because I'm so famous all the time anyway, I'll be like, yeah, this is the podcast I was on.
All right. So let me go ahead and get you the Q&A. So, Nightmare, you ready for the Q&A?
Let's go.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Yep, this is the WTF questions, so you better be prepared.
Oh, God. All right. All right, everybody. This is where Twitch bans the Reef Podcast. So I hope you've all had fun.
All right. Yeah, exactly, Retro Panda. The lightning round. All right. I'll let Nightmare start with his questions. I'm going to be finishing with my personal favorite that I always ask here in the podcast.
Oh, God.
So it's going to
be added a punishment for me if people agree.
Yes. So when it comes to this segment, ladies and gents that are watching the podcast, you can actually input like your answer if you actually like if you want to answer, because I mean this is basically for everybody that's listening and also for our guests. So go ahead and start, Nightmare, with one question, and then I'll go.
And if you disagree with me, you're just wrong. So.
All right. So we gotta start off since we're both having a beer. Beer or whiskey?
Oh God. You started me out with like the hardest question known to man. Like, oh God. If I'm trapped on a desert island and I can only have one or the other, I think I want whiskey. I'm going whiskey.
Whiskey? Gotcha.
I'm going whiskey. But I tell you, that's wow. You guys aren't screwing around. These are the heavy hitters. Oh, jeez.
All right. If you could choose any age for yourself to be forever, what age would it be and why?
35. Mainly because you're old enough to no longer be a young dumbass, like I assume most guys are in their 20s. I know I was a pretty, young dumbass for many years. But you're also not so old like I am now, where everything hurts. Like you get up to pee a lot, your back hurts all the time. When you're 35, you're kind of in that sweet spot. Like, right now I get out of bed and I'm like, oh, my back hurts, so I really want to get out of bed. But when you're 35, you don't have that. But I was also younger. I wouldn't want to be younger.
Well, no, because you say 35, and I say this because I'm 35, waking up with back pain and knee pain. You may want to go a little younger.
Fair. You know what? I didn't have that when I was 35, but that answer can vary per person.
Mm-mm.
You just want to be past the I was in my 20s and I was a dumbass portion of life. Also, having money is fun. I like having money.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any of that in my 20s. I had some of that in my 30s.
So we had a question that came in by Retro Panda here.
Oh God, my co-host. I'm not sure I want to know this one.
All right, go for it. Go for it, Nightmare.
All right, Retro Panda asks, Rope Man versus Cicada in Hell in a Cell. Who is taking home the gold?
Oh God. Okay, I thought this was going to be a respectful, honest podcast, and Panda was going to have a question that was going to require a thoughtful answer. We all know I would beat down Cicada every day of the week, twice on Sunday, and in Hell in a Cell, he wouldn't even make it out of that cell. He would be a bloody bug mess in the middle of the ring while I am holding both championship belts and climbing over the top. Oh, climbing out the ring. You can't climb over the top of a Hell in a Cell. But yeah, Cicada would be dead in a heartbeat. It wouldn't even be close.
Mm-mm. All right, so it's your turn, right, Nightmare, to ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Go for it.
Okay, so would you rather be stuck on a deserted island for a week or in the middle of a forest for a month?
Damn.
Deserted island for a week or a forest for a month? Definitely a deserted island. I mean, look how pasty I am. If I was out on a deserted island, I would just tan for a week. I would just enjoy some nice coconuts. Eat some bananas if there's bananas in the trees. I would get a good tan. If I went out in the forest, I would die. I would get eaten by a bear. I would find like some poison ivy and rub it all over my body for no reason. Like I would just be dead. Like that wouldn't even take me a month. That would take me like 5 minutes.
All right. So next question is, what's the best food to use in a food fight?
The best food to use in a food fight? Well, ultimately it depends on what your goal is. My goal would be to inflict maximum damage upon my opponent. So I want something hard. So I'd go into the desert island theme. I think a coconut. So if you really chuck a coconut at somebody, it's really going to hurt them, and that's going to end the food fight, and you're going to win real quick.
Godspeed.
I still remember when they had that show, Food Wars or whatever.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. All right, so we got 2 questions coming in, one from Steelfy Bixen and one from Cicada. So Steelfy Bixen here says, what would you do if you couldn't stream for your free time?
What would I do if I couldn't stream with my free time? Honestly, I'd probably spend more time with my wife. And then she would make me, like, clean the house or do laundry or mend the garden. No, I'm kidding. No, before I started streaming, I mean, I gamed a lot, of course, but we watched a lot of television, like a lot of different TV series. Like when my wife and I were dating and stuff, we watched a lot of the Marvel TV shows. We watched How I Met Your Mother, Chuck. So we did a lot of watching a TV series, and that I'd probably go back to that.
Okay. All right. So what you got, Nightmare? Because I got 2 more.
Well, we've got another question here.
Okay.
From Cicada that we got to ask.
Oh.
Can we get an Ace Attorney pose for research purposes?
What does that mean?
What? Can we get
a pose? Well, I guess. Or I can do this one. Hold on. I gotta get a little more room.
Oh man, that's classic. Panda's like, objection.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
And then Crafty says, I think the first one was him doing math.
That Crafty's my wife, and she's not wrong. That is the same look I get when I'm doing math. Usually it's like, how do I keep Crafty from spending our whole budget at the mall today? What do I need to transfer?
Oh my goodness. All right, so here comes my 3rd question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So after this one, Nightmare has 1 more, and then I have the final one.
I've got 2 more. Okay.
All right. So after this one, he has 2 more, and then I have to finish with my final question. All right.
God.
So I'll let Nightmare ask 1 question, and then I'll go, and then he goes, and then okay, go for it.
Okay, so bring back WCW for one night stand, or bring back ECW for 1 more show.
Ooh.
I gotta say, okay. Here's the thing. I love ECW. I don't want to disparage it at all. Just don't hate me. Don't cancel me because I'm going to vote for WCW here. I'm going to vote for WCW though, but it's personal for me. And the reason why, fun story, I actually worked for WCW for a night back when I was 18 years old. So this would have been like 25 years ago. I worked security for WCW, parking garage security. So I technically I was like a contractor for WCW. I worked for the venue in Des Moines, Iowa. And I got to work the parking garage with it was me on the inside and a really old guy who didn't know any wrestlers on the outside. So I actually got to meet, as they were leaving, all the wrestlers that were coming out. I got to talk to Terry Funk. I talked to Mike Tenay, the announcer, Mean Gene Okerlund. I met Buff Bagwell. I met some other also-rans as well. But so I just loved WCW back in the day, and getting to do that was a thrill. But the best part of me working security was at one point somebody came into to the front, and the old guy out front, he had to have been 65 working the parking garage there. And he just goes, "Do you know these wrestlers?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I watch the stuff. I know the wrestlers." And he goes, "Well, I've got a young lady out here that I don't know who she is, but she says she's supposed to be part of the show, and I need to let her in." So he goes, "Her name's Tori." And I go, "Tori Wilson?" He goes, "Yeah, that's it." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you can let her in. It's fine." She comes in. This was like, I'm talking like 22, 23-year-old Tori Wilson. Like yeah. So
Damn.
she drives in. Yeah, she drives in and she rolls down her window and she looks at me, and I'm an 18-year-old dork. Like, I don't even have stubble. I couldn't even grow stubble at that point when I was 18. She just drives up. Beautiful woman. She rolls down her window and she goes, "Were you the one that let me in?" I go, "Yes, Miss Wilson. I know who you are, so I authorized it." And I didn't have any authority. I just was like, "Yeah, it's fine." She goes, "Well, thank you," and then gave me a wink as she drove away. I tell you what, 25 years later, I still tell that story.
That's awesome.
Thrill of my life right there, other than meeting my wife.
All right. I'm going to give that story an applause because that was a good story.
However, I did have to give Terry Funk directions to his hotel. I didn't really know the city of Des Moines. I really hope he found his hotel and he didn't hate me for the rest of his life for like having him drive to some unknown parts, because I was like, "Oh yeah, you go this way, and sure, that's probably how you get there."
I'm sure that's a story he's told somewhere. I could find it.
Yeah, being like that gosh darn parking attendant in Des Moines, Iowa. Des Moines is a tiny town, and he sent me to a town 6 towns over. Stupid kid.
All right. Next question I have is, would you rather have the ability to breathe underwater or have the abilities of a cat?
Ooh. All right. Hold on. This actually requires a little bit of thought. Like, don't get me wrong. The ability to breathe underwater and eat like fresh seafood anytime I want is very, very appealing. However, being able to be a cat and lick my own butt is also very appealing. So, I think I have to go with being a cat. Like, not because of the butt licking part. That'd be a sub benefit. But I really would enjoy the ability to just not give a flipping care what anybody else thinks, and to be just a complete and total butthole to everybody, and just it be expected out of me. Like, that just sounds so appealing. So I think I have to go with being a pussycat.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you mean that's not supposed to be expected from people?
Well, I mean, I try to live those attributes every day myself, but I sometimes fail, and I never see a cat fail at being a total butthole. So, you know, that's striving for perfection.
Mm-hmm. All right, Nightmare, we got a question coming in, right?
Yes, we have one question that came in.
Okay, who is it?
Dark Eclipse asked, if you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends assume you did?
Oh, wow.
God, the list is so plentiful. I have to narrow this down. That might be a question that's better asked of my wife.
We
honestly,
don't want to ask my friends that.
Honestly, because I am a very straight shooter, like outside of streaming. Like, you know, it goes with being a lawyer. Like I don't do anything wrong outside of the house. I try to maintain a very professional life outside of here. But I tell you what, when I am tailgating, I'll go pee anywhere. I don't have to use a porta potty. I'll go in the trees. I'll go in the bushes. So I would go with indecent exposure, but it wouldn't be because I was like flashing somebody. It'd be because I'd be caught like in the middle of the trees, like taking a whiz, and I would get caught. So I'd go with indecent exposure. Gotcha.
All right, Nightmare, do you have one final question?
Yes, I have one final question.
Yep.
No, Tay, I'm not flashing people. That's the point. It would be because I was going to the bathroom in the woods. Come on. Catch up, Tay.
So what is the scarier thought for you? Sharks with the ability to fly through the air, or tigers with the ability to breathe and swim underwater indefinitely?
Sharks, easily. I don't fear cats. I don't understand why people are afraid of cats. A tiger is just a big pussy cat. You know what? They're cuddly. They're buttholes. You just give them a pet and a couple of treats, and they're just fine. Sure, the treats are T-bone steaks, but you know what? That's fun. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. All right, so
it's simple. Sharks flying through the air. I don't know how to deal with that. That'd be like, I don't even have a good analogy for that. That'd be like Dr. Evil saying, "I want sharks with laser beams on their heads," and I don't even know how to deal with that.
okay, so final question from Retro Panda, and then I'm getting to my final question of the day.
Ruh-roh.
So Retro Panda here says, if a tomato is a fruit, does that make ketchup a smoothie?
No, and I know technically a tomato is a fruit, but I actually go against that premise. I think tomato is a vegetable, and I will always treat it as a vegetable, and I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what science says. A tomato is a vegetable because that's how my parents raised me, and my parents raised me right.
Yeah.
End of story.
All right. So final question here from me, and then we'll do our farewells here and thank everybody here. Do you eat cereal?
I do.
Okay. Do you pour the cereal first and then the milk, or the milk first and then the cereal?
Well, seeing as I'm not a monster, of course I pour the cereal first and not the milk.
Well, what if I told you that I actually poured the milk first and then the cereal?
I would call you a monster, and I think I've called you a monster a couple of times for suggesting that.
So my co-host here basically started doing this last week. If anybody agrees with me that mine is a normal statement for me doing that, he's gonna eat one of those. Like if they say
Carolina Reaper almonds.
so, whoever says that they agree with me, they have to be truthful. They'll be like, okay, I don't mind doing that. I mean, it's common, it's normal. But if nobody agrees and they say, Luis, you're totally different, you're a monster, anything, then basically like, oh look, lobsters. Lobsters
No,
agree.
lobster, you don't count.
No, that is not normal. All right, you know what? I like to think I'm not a very judgmental person. I like to think that I'm very open-minded. I accept a lot of different viewpoints. But Luis, I gotta say, you're a monster. Who does that? Like, what? Okay, how do you know how much cereal you need to pour if you fill the bowl up with milk? Like, what are you doing here? Like, this is no. Time out, everybody. No, chat. We got to have a serious conversation about this. Luis is some sort of weird monster, like crazy person putting milk in a cereal bowl and then the cereal. Like, how do you know how many Cocoa Puffs to pour? Like, seriously, like. The best part of Frosted Flakes is watching them just kind of sink in as the milk goes over the top of them. You're missing out on so many life experiences. The best part of Fruity Pebbles is when you get to hear that crackle as the milk goes onto them. If you pour the cereal on top of the milk, you don't hear that crackle. Oh my God. Oh no.
Well, hold on. I've got to ask this. This has never been asked. Who taught you to do that?
Yes.
I actually just started.
Yes.
We need an answer.
Yes. No, we're not going anywhere until we get the answer, and we can go beat down the door of whatever person taught this to you, because they taught you wrong, and we shouldn't blame you until we know the answer to this. Yes, I'm sorry, I got a little heated there.
No, I mean, I just started doing it myself. I was like, oh, let me just try this, and then I just like seeing the cereal float. So
I like. God. Oh my God, no, just no. Like, come on now.
This isn't strong enough for that.
I'm drinking beer, not whiskey. You didn't tell me I needed whiskey for the stream.
Oh my goodness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to personally thank everybody that came out to the Reef Podcast today through Twitter on SpotemGang and on Twitch. Thank you so much, Roadman, for being here. It's been a blast. Really fun.
Thank you guys for hosting it, and having me on. Appreciate it, and I look forward to. I hope this is a spoiler, but there might be a collaboration between the podcast and Pixels and Pints in the work. Just something I heard through the grapevine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's rumors about that, but we don't know until it actually is true. We'll find out.
Yeah, I blame Panda.
But thank you again for being here, guys. We greatly appreciate y'all. We're gonna find a fellow spotter that we're actually gonna go raid out to. So let me go ahead and see who we can actually find real quick. If one of my modders can show me real quick. Let's see, who do we have on? Let's see. Okay, let's see.
Look, Game Breakers, all I've got to say is it would not end well.
Yeah, you think I can wrestle? I can barely walk to the bathroom in the middle of the night. What are you talking about?
Look, I'm a little rusty on it, and need to get back into shape a little bit, but we can do this.
I have a perfectly good shape. It's round.
I mean, yeah.
So.
Same, but...
Alrighty, I found a fellow spotter that we're gonna raid, and her name is. Let me see who we got. I got it right here. Hold on. It's Zombie. We're gonna be raiding Zombie. She's actually playing Minecraft, and she's doing a charity stream, so we're gonna go visit her. Let's see. Try to spell her name right here, because you don't want to make sure you spell the name correctly, otherwise you're gonna be like, what, that's the wrong name. So thank you again, Rogueman, for this. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, SpotemGang, for letting us host the Reef Podcast on Twitter. Greatly appreciate y'all. Greatly appreciate everybody that came out, asked a couple questions at the end. It was a blast. If you haven't followed Rogueman yet, please do so right now. Great guy, awesome vibes. And we're going to be seeing y'all in 2 weeks when we interview another content creator. Stay around for the credits so you can get a hint of who's going to be.
Ooh.
So, see y'all soon, guys. Take care. As always, today's episode of the Reef Podcast was streamed live on Twitch. If you could not make it to the live stream of the podcast, you can always listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and iHeart Radio. Thanks for listening. See you next time.